Payday 3 is dead. Deserved.
Today, we really need to talk about something that really burns me inside, okay? No, I don't
Maybe it's stomach acid. It's probably stomach acid, isn't it?
really enjoy when a game fails, just because I think the more awesome games there are, the better that it is. But I think today we can pretty much say that Payday 3 is about as dead as it can be. Now, these are the Steam charts for Payday 2. Now, you'll be like, whoa,
Nice.
27,971 people still play this game.
Imagine if this many people played Starfield. You know what that would mean? That's not a shit game. Again, numbers don't lie.
This vintage? Yeah, they do. It's a fun game. I enjoy it. Throughout all the controversies Payday 2 has had, it is without a doubt so much content that even if you put thousands of hours into the game, you still won't experience everything. It is the one game that I love playing with my buddy Amaru a lot, Kyle. You know why? Because I love heist games. You know, most people are like, I love Helldivers 2. I love zombie games. I love games where I could rob banks, liquor stores, everything under the sun. If you haven't nailed it down, I'm gonna put it in the duffel bag. I'm gonna run away, all right? I'm gonna steal. I'm gonna be a gangster. And that's probably one of the reasons why I play games like Grand Theft Auto Online. To this day, I just love the idea of being a criminal in a world where I don't suffer any consequences, okay? In the real...
I mean, that's actually a pretty decent take, too. I never thought about it like that. Huh. I always look at these things and think, yeah, you can do this in real life. But yeah, here you don't have consequences for it, which is kind of funny. Which is kind of neat, I guess.
Real world, I ain't crypto scamming you, okay? The most you can accuse me of, all right, is promoting an amazing brand that I made with my friends called 1UP. It's absolutely one of the best brands. You like skincare? I love skincare, all right? That's why I made a brand. You done dealing with hardcore Scantron tests? Oh,
this is the first time I hear about it. And, I mean, he's not lying here in the fact that he made a brand, I'm assuming. Also, very smart use of language that he didn't make the product, that he made the brand. Okay, so Mudahar joins the group of YouTubers, the classic El Clasico group of YouTubers that get approached by a large entity, a large company, something already made, and then they just need to put their face on it. Now, why the hell would anyone want a skincare products from our boy Muda? I have no idea. Seems like questionable stuff. There's so many other better creators for this, and that's not even a jab at him. That's just fact. Gamers do care about themselves, but gamers tend to care less about themselves than specific other groups of people. So, this is interesting.
Oh, me too. 50 products? No, you just buy one pump a day, you're good. But ladies and gentlemen, aside from being one pump chumps, one thing to understand is I don't sell you no crypto. I don't sell you no crazy wild...
At this point, I wish it was actually crypto.
Pump and dump scheme, right? I leave all my criminality to video games. And that's where it should be. So Payday is one of those rare games where you can be a criminal. You can be a heister, a cooperative heister. There's not many games like this on the market. You know, if I really think at the top of my head, the only other game that comes to my mind is a stupid shitty crime, Rocket Crime Boss, Rocky City. That pile of dung, that's the only other thing. Now, obviously, Payday 2 has had a sequel called Payday 3. And if you remember me making a video on it a while back, it's literally me trying to connect to its shitty launch day, okay? The game launched, and it launched to a fanfare of 69,000 people, all time.
Nice. But yeah, no one could play this game at launch. It was probably, if not the worst launch of the past couple of years. It was phenomenally bad.
Peak, okay? That's a perfect number. Just a few hundred shy. And of course, right now, the sequel is at 310 players as of an hour ago. That is actually the average amount of players you can expect. I mean, you're looking at peaks of 415 people, but generally, there are times where this game goes down to absolutely...
Dude, remember when the Act Man told you, Payday 3 is gonna be awesome? Shill Man, yes. Act Man, yes. Angry Joe told you that Payday 3 is gonna... Did he? I think he did. Maybe I'm mistaken. If I'm mistaken, my apologies. But man, the act man gets lubed up, lathered up, and put on the grill like the pig he is, and he doesn't even know it. Now I know I got flown out, treated like a celebrity, and I had two Chinese hookers sucking on each of my nuts in the hotel room, but they did not pay me to say good things about it. Ah, man. The shilliness is beautiful sometimes, isn't it? It's hilarious, honestly.
0 players on Steam. Now, to understand, this game is also played on PlayStation, Xbox, Game Pass, whatever. So
no one cares. No one cares.
Maybe the number's a little higher, but that's generally what you're looking at. PC is the most popular platform for this game, and if that's the numbers, woo, it's dead all over the board. Now, why is this game dead? Well, ladies and gentlemen, it chased the live service heroin dragon that is basically plaguing a whole chunk of the games industry. Now, at the beginning of this, I mentioned Helldivers 2, and while that game is a live service, the actual development team has been so transparent that it's actually fun for the community to see the game evolve, progress, and develop as it's been released. It also released with a good amount of fucking content. You know what Payday 3 didn't release with? A good amount.
No, it was just a fun game. The developers being transparent and whatnot has nothing to do with this. Yeah, it makes the reputation better and whatnot. It's very nice to see. But Payday is a bad game, but Helldivers is a good game at its core. So, people don't care about it being a live service game. It is what it is. No one cares. Make good game, people play it. It's as simple as that. Live service, not live service quadrupled. No one cares. If it's good, people play it. It has been the most simple thing in the universe. If someone likes something, they do, they buy, they consume, they use. And if they don't like something, well, they don't. Very simple.
Amount of content. Now, obviously, comparing this to the release of Payday 2, a game that has had a decade of support, upgrades, quality of life fixes, actual expansions, it's unfair. But when you're making a sequel to a game that already has so much, you better be sure not to alienate the current player base, which is exactly what they did. Now, I feel like the only person at this point that's fucking having any form of fun is the Payday 3 development team, the Payday 3 social media manager. I mean, that's the kind of comedy we're looking at, boys. Woo! Easter Island face statue, awesome! And of course, all they can really do is basically make time go by, make a little profile resume for themselves so they work at another company somewhere down the road. Because it ain't looking good for a company like Starbreeze. I mean, when you've got boards like this, 17 hours ago, somebody posted, at this point, it's just depressive. The game series has meant so much to all of us that we're willing to still fight for it. But let's be realistic, it's over. They will most likely never recover from this. Not even the game. It'll probably be forgotten as much as I'd like to think. Otherwise, Starbreeze should have just sold the IP to another company, or even 10 Chambers themselves. Anyone but fucking Starbreeze. But also packed up. As a company, they don't work. They never will be. Part of this rant was also meant for me to say it's depressing how everything is right now. And that at least me, I'm going to be leaving the community. So yeah, we're already putting in the departure right here. And honestly, it's Starbreeze, if anything.
I mean, it kind of feels that's a little bit too late to put in your departure notice, because everyone else has already left and you're like the idiot left behind. Hey, it is what it is at the end of the day. And, man, I have to say, being super negative about everything without reason is kind of shitty. But when it comes to being a consumer, that's actually better than toxic positivity. Being a muppet and saying everything is good while everything is bad. Saying that the developers are amazing. Looking at you, by the way, Diablo 4. Very much looking at you in Starfield. Saying these things that everything's fine while the game is objectively shit and no one's playing it because it's just that bad is so much worse than just even randomly just being negative for negativity's sake. Because if you tell the developers that everything is bad and sad, they're gonna fix stuff. Okay? They're gonna fix stuff. They're gonna change stuff. They're gonna make stuff better. Okay? But if you tell a bad game that everything's fine and everyone else is just delusional for not liking this absolute masterpiece of a third, you're just making it so much worse. Toxic positivity and being positive about bad things is never good.
To just blame in the situation. Now, don't worry. Like many companies, they've obviously apologized, but it's a situation of, let me explain how bad Payday 3 is. So Payday 3 is a game that has far less quality of life features. I mean, we're at a point where we're hyping up things like a unready button into the game, okay? That's the bad state. We'll get to it in a second. It's a game where you have a selection of maps, and since its release date, you're looking at 1 DLC map and 2 legacy maps, okay? You can understand what from the old game, okay? And of course, the actual game's character building, the actual amount of builds that you can make are far inferior to anything you can get in Payday 2, understandably. The weapon unlocking is about as great as 5% of the original game. If anything, all you're really meant to do is basically grind this game, get C quarters weekly, shit that Chris Chan would sell in Quickville. All right, amass a few legendary weapons, and that's pretty much the general gist of the game. The progression is all centered around completing challenges instead of actually playing the game. In fact, one of the biggest problems with the actual progression was going through meaningless checklists in order to actually meaningfully advance your character, which is not something you want to be doing in a video game. I want to play your game, okay, the way I want to play, right? I don't want to play the game in the weird tunnels that you want to keep pushing me into just for engagement, just for live service numbers. That's not how it works. So obviously the game also had some pretty severe issues in regards to servers. We've talked about it, but the gameplay itself honestly doesn't even feel much like Payday, all right? Payday is a game that is all centered around obviously building towards either stealth or loud. And depending on which avenue you go, you do open up far different paths of gameplay, right? Like if you're playing loud and you develop a character like the Stoic build, for instance, you could pretty much tank anything the game tosses at you, versus a character that is more inclined to be stealthy, meaning they can literally run across the map, even in front of direct sight lines, and still never get caught. There are multiple different ways to play this game.
That sounds stupid, the way that he describes it, honestly, in my opinion. Being a stealth character that can just run and no one sees them is kind of, like, dumb. Oh no, that sounds like bad game design, my honest opinion, to a degree.
And all of them are incredibly meaningful and very rewarding. The progression system in the old Payday games absolutely allowed you to progress your character and play exactly the way that you wanted. Something that I feel Payday 3 fairly lacks. Even the maps and the mutations they have do not exactly hit the same levels that Payday 2 does. Now I wanted to show you something really fucking cringe in this situation. So because Payday 3 has done such a poor job, their third blog update is about Operation Medic Bag. Now, if you ever played Rainbow Six Siege, one of the things we had on there was Operation Health, where Ubisoft, like many companies, also realized that even with Siege during its tumultuous launch, and I would know, I played the game since its launch, there were issues that had to be ironed out. Obviously, Rainbow Six Siege is a well-beloved live service shooter right now. Why? That's because the team consistently provides engaging content on a seasonal base. Something Payday 3 has failed to do. Remember, in 6 months, we've barely gotten slightly functioning servers, 1 new map, and 2 legacy...
Man, 6 months. That's dude. In 6 months, how much has happened? Payday 3, Starfield, Skull and Bones, Suicide Squad. I'm probably forgetting something pretty obvious, aren't I? Man, how much bad has happened in such a short period of time? It's beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. Hey, again, I think the idea that if you that you want games to succeed is fine, but I think that's a little bit like, wishy-washy, head in the clouds type of deal. Because the reality is all games are not going to succeed. And if not all games are going to succeed, that means that some games are going to fail. And I want the games that fail to fail so hard that they teach every other developer a lesson. If you do this crap, you're literally out of business. Okay? So I am completely fine with something like Payday 3 doing all of these bad decisions, creating no content, having such a bad release, that they just go bankrupt and the company just stops existing. I am completely 100% down with this idea. Because again, the more fear we put into the developers that you can't just develop shit and try to sell it while sprinkling a little bit of that chocolate powder on it. No, that's not gonna slide. You're gonna have to pay the consequences if you deliver such a bad game. And those consequences are you going under. It's simple. I like that idea. I think that makes gaming better as a whole.
FC maps, okay? It's actually a downright embarrassment. So, of course, this is the funniest thing. This is their initial focus. Just read this. It's even worse than when I looked at Halo Infinite, which is a great game now, by the way. Check it out. They're launching Quick
That's a lie.
Play version 1, okay? Now, the unready button.
Wow.
The fact that you have to put that in a list, you couldn't even unready in the game at launch. Once you hit ready, you...
Dude, that's the equivalent of Blizzard. You remember Season 3 and 2? When Blizzard put bug fixes as like the main feature of the season? Oh my god, you're gonna have bug fixes. That's like the main part of the season. Yeah, it's that level of bad.
You were fucking full dick committed to go into the heist. How this feature set was basically ignored when the original game had it, I believe, since launch, is baffling. The play again feature. Vote kicking. Yeah,
Wow.
2024 multiplayer game, and we're still hyping up vote kick. Loadout renaming. Something that's been in gaming since COD 4. Controller improvements, recurring smaller content drops, rotating security modifiers, daily activities with rewards. Yeah, that's what I look forward to. Hey man, I'm home. Let's do some dailies, boys. Let's get those week.
By the way, do you know what this is? A roadmap, effectively just without dates. How do you feel about that now?
Weeklies out of the way. Hey, we got monthlies? Better keep grinding them, boys. Don't want to play any other game. Mask vendor with weekly rotating inventory, merge players into party post-match, communication wheel improvements. Yeah, if that's what you're hyping up in the game, you might as well consider it dead as fuck. So, of course, going in forward...
Yeah, the game has so many more massive issues than just that. It's kind of crazy that they're even paying attention, honestly, to, these small things that no one should care about, and no one effectively even cares about it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to read some of the original posts here. And of course, in 2024, these are the improvements in the game, okay? And let me know if you find anything odd about this list. So for one, progression, all right? Like I explained earlier, this game forces you into tunnel vision, so the fact that they're hyping up progression shows you where we're sitting at. New content. Why that has to even be mentioned, you would think a live service game would just consistently give you new content. They've also got...
The reason that has to be mentioned is because most likely otherwise they have like one or two things only there, and it seems shit. So, it's just it's just an attempt to trick people into something. That's pretty much it.
UI revamp, which again, the UI wasn't necessarily even the worst part, but it doesn't stop there.
I mean...
Stability, matchmaking, and server browser. Very
Wow.
basic features. Very basic features. Yet that's what they're highlighting. And of course, last but not least...
By the way, this is how you know that the game is completely dead. When the developers have a dead game on their hands, and they are trying to hype up like these basic things that no one cares about that should be in the game, that just means that they have no idea what to change, how to change, why it's bad, and what people actually want. So they're hyping up things that really don't make sense in anyone's opinion who actually plays the game, because those are not the important things. Which also, by the way, shows that the developers are not listening to community feedback, because why would they, right? So, the game is not gonna get better, because this is literally what they are thinking about. They think that these are the reasons the game is bad, which is clearly not the case, by the way. So it is what it is. Anyway, that was Mudahar. Oh, that's pretty good hair, honestly. Wow, he should probably do something with that more, because looks like almost a bowl cut most of the time. Can't actually say anything considering I had not been to the hair barber for 6 months, so it is what it is. Anyway, that was Mudahar. This was Quizzer Citizen. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and have a nice day. Bye bye.